Ladies and gentlemen, if elections were to be held in this country today, who would you vote for as your preferred presidential candidate between Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party leader, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the current president of the Republic of Kenya, and Raila Odinga? Who do you vote for? I'm asking that question because one thing is now clear. That number one, William Ruto is going to defend his seat in 2027. Number two, the name Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be on the ballot in 2027. The third fact is that Musalia Mudavadi is not going to be on the ballot in 2027. And number four, the name Raila Odinga will either be on the ballot or not. It's still not very clear, but Raila Odinga is likely to be on the ballot. And in this particular video, I want us to look at the heartbreaking dilemma Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is actually facing as Raila Odinga's 2027 plans, as Raila Odinga's 2027 plan unfold. Before we get into all those details, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, press that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So just press that thumbs up button to support the channel now. Kalonzo Musyoka made this statement ahead of 2022 general election.
I can tell you the guys I negotiate with very seriously are those ones. Yeah. If they convince me, fine. If I convince them, fine. Because these are brothers. We know each other. Yeah.
But not the other person.
Well, I don't know. I said our brother Raila is willing to join us. I mean, he's free to join us. That I can tell you for a fact. And in fact, I would love that to be the situation, that he joins us. Okay? However, I cannot see, and I made it clear, I would be the most stupid fellow on the earth to go and support the third time a presidential candidate, all right, without a measure of reciprocity. I think it goes beyond the doctrine of good faith, justice, fairness, yeah. And I can tell you, this man you're talking to is very strong. There are people who think, oh, he's a weakling. This guy is very strong. So strong that they are afraid because they know.
But he ended up supporting Raila Odinga. And just this week, Kalonzo Musyoka made again this particular statement.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In an interview you did a little back in 2021 with my colleague, still on NTV, you said it would be unwise, and in your own words, you said it would be stupid to support Raila Odinga for a third term. Yes. I mean, in hindsight, do you still believe that was the right decision?
The fool in me ended up supporting Raila for the third time. But that fool is wiser now than he was then. All right? I am no fool. It took some painful introspection, Kenyans will remember, and I brought it out before I had to sit with my friend Raila and showed him in black and white what we had agreed in writing. So I brought it out of the chest. And from that time I said, I'm ready to support Raila. And it was therefore the right thing to do. And therefore, I'm no fool. I'll never be. I've been dragged through the mud so many times, given some bad names, but I'm still there, and I love this country.
You can't tell whether we'll support Raila Odinga again or not, but from where I sit, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka's name will be on the ballot in 2027. And Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka's presidential bid actually has its advantage. Number one, Kalonzo Musyoka's name on the ballot can actually force a rerun in case Raila Odinga will also be on the ballot. Because there are so many people who voted for Ruto or voted for Raila because Kalonzo Musyoka was one side. But if Kalonzo were to run, there are people who would vote for Kalonzo Musyoka and will definitely force a rerun. For example, Ukambani region will now vote for him fully. And then their turn-up will also be up there, which means they'll force a rerun. Number two, the Kikuyu factor also favors Kalonzo Musyoka. As much as William Ruto benefited greatly from the Kikuyu nation, Kalonzo Musyoka can win a bit of support of the Kikuyu nation compared to Raila Odinga. Places like Meru, places like Embu, places like Mbere, places like Tharaka, he can easily win some of their support. Because, you know, there are Kikuyus who voted for Ruto because of their hate for Raila Odinga. But not that because they love they love Ruto. So which means if there's another alternative, then they can easily vote for that alternative. Number three is a compromise candidate. There are people who failed really to make a choice because they are not comfortable with Ruto and they're also not comfortable with Raila. So this group of people can easily rally around Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Some of these people found solace in Wajakoya. Some of them found solace in who else? I think it was only Wajakoya. But again, it can also explain the high number of voters who really did not vote. And again, it's also important that Kalonzo can easily win Raila Odinga's support, Raila's support base. Those who will feel now, even if Raila is on the ballot, we are not going to support him, we are going to change. They can easily vote for Kalonzo Musyoka. And of course, he can also benefit from the betrayal tag. But Kalonzo Musyoka is facing serious dilemma, which is forming the basis of this analysis. And I'm going to give you 5 dilemma which Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka finds himself in, because from all indications, based on Raila Odinga's speech in Mombasa, Raila is likely to be on the ballot, and therefore it's going to have a big impact on Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. The first dilemma is creating a national network. The fact of the matter is that Kalonzo Musyoka is a national leader. He has all the credentials to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Personally, I can easily vote for Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, and I've always made that very clear on this platform. But in 2013, Kalonzo Musyoka was Raila Odinga's running mate. In 2017, he was Raila Odinga's running mate. In 2022, Kalonzo Musyoka was not on the ballot, and he was also not Raila Odinga's running mate. Let's go back to 2007. He was a presidential candidate, and of course his votes were confined to Ukambani. If you look at the results of the last election, Kalonzo Musyoka did not really perform well as was expected. The truth is, creating a national network will be a big challenge for Kalonzo Musyoka. If Raila Odinga were to support him, then he will easily benefit from Raila Odinga's network, because Raila Odinga's network is already built. He only needed to shift it to Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So that's number one. The second challenge Kalonzo Musyoka will be facing is finance. You know, there are people who normally finance campaigns. Raila Odinga has financed this campaign now 3 times. Of course, he will also again easily fund his campaign for a 4th time. How much do you think Kalonzo Musyoka has in terms of solid cash to finance his campaign? Of course, the truth is, if Ruto is running, the deep state will be with him. If Raila is running, there are those who will still fund him. But if Raila Odinga was not running, then it means all those people who have a bone to chew with Ruto would then pump all their money on Kalonzo. So Kalonzo will easily get money to finance his campaign in case Raila Odinga is not on the ballot. But in case Raila Odinga is on the ballot, there are people who will believe that Raila Odinga will still have a chance, because probably the Kenya Kwanza government shall have failed, William Ruto shall have made a few mistakes here and there, and they'll still believe that Raila Odinga still had that chance, you know, Because, you know, Raila Odinga failed because they were not really prepared for the presidency. So they believe that after the 2022 laws, Raila Odinga will now then be more careful. So those who will be funding his campaigns will probably be funding specific aspects of the campaign. If Raila were not running, they will shift all those finance to Kalonzo. So it's a second dilemma. The third dilemma which Kalonzo is facing is game of numbers. Let's face it, politics is a game of numbers. Today, if Kalonzo Musyoka were to run and Uhuru Kenyatta is behind him, Raila Odinga is behind him, he will deal with the issue of numbers easily. Because Raila will deliver, Uhuru will deliver, even if it's 1 million, then he will add the Ukambani votes. And those who will now compromise, you know, those who are not comfortable with Ruto, you know, they'll rally around him. But in case Raila Odinga is on the ballot, and Musalia Mudavadi will also not be on the ballot, do you think Kalonzo can get the Luya votes? Do you think Kalonzo can get the Lu votes? Do you think Kalonzo can get the coastal votes? So he's facing that dilemma of numbers. But if Raila were to rally around him, I'm sure he will easily get the numbers. The fourth dilemma he's facing is actually the requirement of 25%, which is required for all candidates to get 25% of the votes in more than half of the counties. So which means if Raila is running, Ruto is running, Kalonzo is running, then each one of them must get 25% in at least 24 counties. I don't see Kalonzo Musyoka meeting that requirement. And that's a big challenge, in my view, if you ask me. It's a big challenge for him. And number 5, in my view, the fifth challenge is basically a credible running mate. If Raila were to run, and Kalonzo running, and Ruto running, the top players will go with Raila, Ruto. If Raila is not running, then Raila can actually recommend. They can have an agreement and recommend a running mate. Or even Raila himself can agree to be Kalonzo Musyoka's running mate. Because you are saying Kalonzo is going to be the presidential candidate. So let's have Kalonzo Musyoka as a presidential candidate with Raila Odinga as his running mate. How do you think that ticket will perform? But without that, Kalonzo will not get a credible running mate. He will go and get another Sunkuli. He will go and get another Chirao Makwere as his running mate. People will not really add value. And the other challenge which he'll have, which is my last point, is basically Kalonzo Musyoka will be confined to Kamba politics. He will be reduced to a Kamba leader. Because if he will not be able to get support from the key players and will not be able to penetrate those regions, because I don't see him working hard to achieve that, then definitely he will be confined to Kamba. He will get the Kamba votes. Remember, Kalonzo Musyoka has always won the Kamba votes. Even in the last election, when he was not a presidential candidate, when he didn't really campaign for Raila, he still managed to lock Ruto out of Kamba. So he has that gift. But the Kambas will turn out in large numbers, but that will be the end of it. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Again, for those watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, press that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.